Alright, welcome back to the Quick Speed Shop. What I'm doing today is patching the passenger side door on the Thomas rocket car. You can see here, it's full of Swiss cheese. We got to cut the skin off the outside, and I also got to replace the bottom here and remake the hinge that goes in the pocket. The car is here, all the metal work is done, everything is primed up and ready to go. As soon as I get this door fixed and get it mounted back on the car, it's going back to the body shop, and hopefully soon the body work will be done and the car will be restored and on display. I'm simply going to take a ruler. I'm just going to measure up a couple of inches until we get up above this rust, which should probably be right about there. Make a little mark and measure this. That looks like 3.5 inches, so we'll go up 3.5 all the way across the door. Then we'll just draw a line and we'll cut the lower skin off. Use my straight edge action. Bam, here we go. Look at this. This door panel sucked way down in here. This car is custom built, and I don't know how they press these door skins out, but look at the stress in there. Just sucked that down an inch. So I'm going to have to fight with that when I get it put back together. Ay, ay, ay. This was spot welded to the lower section, but all the spot welds are rusted off, so that's why it's coming off like this. There you go. So I also have to replace this inner structure here. We got to make this L channel. We'll start cutting up this lower section, get this going. I'll make some measurements so I know how long we got to make this. We'll replace this bottom piece, and then we'll make the top skin. I went and I cut a pattern to make sure I don't lose my shape here because it's pretty complex. So I got the one side which matches up on the door, then I've got the negative side, and I'll probably have to make this inner structure in 2 pieces, and then I'm going to try to have to break up this piece. I don't know if I can break it up in 1 piece or 2. I might have to do 2 pieces, and I know I can't. I don't have, my brake's not wide enough. It's only 36 inches, so I'm going to go ahead, I think, and flip the door over and try to cut into this and get some more of this opened up. Alright, so on my paper templates I went ahead and I used a piece of scrap and I broke up the shape here from the bottom, and it's pretty close. I'm a little shy on my 1 dimension here, so I got the straight edge on the door, which the bottom of the door is straight on this car. So I'm holding it up here and I'm about a 1/2 inch shy on my one dimension, or about a 1/4 inch. I overbent the one brake a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and cut probably a 1-foot wide piece, 18 gauge, and try to break it up correctly here and trim this back and get it tacked in place. When I get the bottom fixed before I put the skin on, well, it's easy to get to these. I'll take it over, I'll fit the door to the car, and I'll mark my holes for my new hinge, and I'll drill them and get the door mounted and make sure that it opens and closes alright. And then also make sure I can, with this bottom fitted in, I can fine tune it to the rocker panel gap and make sure the door is gapped fine, and then I can make the skin. You know, you don't want to just go ahead and hack the whole bottom of the door off and patch it and weld it all up and go to put it on the car and find out that the rocker panel gap runs a 1/16 or eighth of an inch. It'll be really noticeable. So I'll make the inside piece, the inner structure. You know, we'll leave it roughed out, then we can put the door on the car and then gap it and set it up nice, and then put the skin on last. Alright, so there's my piece. Got it all trimmed up here, ready to go. Oops, let's see. Yep. get it welded right in here. Bam! I'll go ahead and I'll just tack all this in, and then we'll go on to the other side. Alright, there we go. I got the edge welded on all the way across. And the only thing I can do now is cut the corner piece on this side and weld this in, but it's getting pretty late. I don't want to be welding right before I go to bed. So I'm going to bend this up now, trim it up, and get it ready to weld in the morning. Alright, so I got the bottom on. Now I got the door on the car. I'm having some fitment issues. The gaps, just like on the other side, are super tight on this door. I mean, it barely fits in the hole. And it's hitting in here on the inside. But I got a half-inch drop on this side, which it's overlaying the quarter panel, or the rocker panel and everything. See, it's got a good gap here. By the time I put the skin on, there'll be like an 1/8 inch gap here, but down here it's hanging over, and you can see this body line here comes here, then way down here, but I can't lift the door up hardly at all. I'm going to oblong the holes in the hinge so I get a little adjustment in it, but I'm having a real hard time getting it to fit. I might have to end up cutting the door to make it fit. I also got like no gap here in the fender, which isn't a big deal. I can slice the fender and then I can roll this edge back and re-weld it to gap the fender. That's not the problem. But I've got inner structure clearance here, and I might need to clearance this edge of the door. But it's hitting the inside of the what you call it here. So I'm having a heck of a time trying to get that. But I'm going to go ahead and take the bolts out of the door hinge and elongate the holes so maybe I can just go like this to the door a little bit. Maybe it'll fit better. And I've got to drill my lower hinge bolts. Alright, it's been like almost 4 hours of trying to get this stupid door to fit in this hole. And the thing was hurting me was this body line here. So I've got the door. It was hitting all through the front edge. I had to adjust the hinge like 1,800 times. I actually had to slice the fender here where that bare metal spot is, push the fender back because it was hitting all through here. I had to adjust that and grind that down. It's super tight on the inside structure, and I can't get the door to go up anymore. The gaps are pretty much parallel now all the way around. I got to trim my new bottom piece just about 1/8 inch to get it to be parallel on the bottom of the rocker. The door opens and closes good. So what I'm going to do is grind the bottom of this inner structure down, get it ready, and put the skin on. Right, here's the door bottom. I'm flanging it up inside the existing skin, but this is 16 gauge, and I had a real hard time with my manual pinchers. So I threw some step dies on the bead roller here, and I'd be able to make this flange with the bead roller. So let's go ahead and try this out. Put a little tension on it and roll it right through. It should put a nice flange right on this panel. For the I'm gonna have to draw a line because I can't see what I'm doing. I'm just using the existing flange as a guide for now. And you see that? Put a nice flange right on there. I might do it one more time just to make it a little bit deeper to cover the sheet metal, but that's what I did to use the bead roller to put a flange on the panel. So I'll do one more time and I'll go back to the door. Now I'll give you some close-up action of the skin. I just got the corners tacked in. You can see the gap underneath is real nice. And you can see the flange with the bead roller. Got a nice place to work. Let's go on the inside. Here you can see I've bent the corner around. I've got to do a little trimming in that corner, but the edge is coming around nice. And on the inside of the door, you'll see where the flange overlap is. I ground the paint off, and when that's pushed tight, I'll seam seal it from the inside. Here's a tip here. I went and I cut these little dogtails into the skin so I could fold them over to hold the door skin tight. While I'm working on this, I cut 3 of them. Oh, where's the third one? There it is. So I was able to hammer those over nice, and I'll just put a tack on each side when I get the door off and finish it up, because I've got to go and finish welding the bottom. But you can see how the skin wraps around. We'll just hammer this over. This is 16 gauge, which is awful heavy for most cars, or well, new cars are like 22 gauge, but most people work with 18 or 20. This is 16, so I'd have a hard time folding this edge over. So that's also why I cut those slots in there. Just make it a little bit easier. Alright, bam, there we go. Got it all welded up. It's pretty straight. You know, it's got to have some mud at the seam here. But I skip lapped it just like the quarter panels. And then I sprayed the inside with self-etching primer. You can see some leaking out of the joint here. I'm going to seam seal the joint on the inside, so it'll be all sealed up, and then they'll have Duraglass, which is waterproof out here, so there won't be any chance of moisture getting in the weld not being all the way. But this looks good. I got a good rocker panel gap all the way around. I just got to take the door back off the car, finish welding the bottom, hammer all my seams over, and then weld this fender slot back up. Alright, here's the bottom of the door. You can see here where I cut these little tabs and I bent over when it was on the car just to help hold the skin. I've got to take the dolly and hammer the rest of this over onto here. As you can see, it's awful violent, but this metal is super stiff. I put a lot of hammer marks in there. I'll hit this with the grinder with a flap disc. I'll clean this up. Holy moly. Alright, so I got the bottom of the door all ground up nice. Hammered all of the rest of the skin over. Got this all welded up and ground down. I'm going to throw some primer on it. And I'm going to weld up the slot I cut in the fender for the clearance on the front edge of the door. And when the primer's dry, I'll put the door back on the car. And I think that'll be it. The car will be all done here from what I was going to do. I'm just going to clean it up, and we'll go outside and I'll shoot a wrap-up video just detailing all the work we did, and that'll be coming up here in another couple of days. I'll release that after this video. So, appreciate everybody watching. Please subscribe, hit the like button, get the alerts, hit the blue bell, and thanks for watching the Thomas Rocket Car series here at the Quick Speed Shop, and we'll see you down the road. It's so humid out today. It's like 93 degrees and like 100% humidity. I can make my hair stick up like Ray from Ghostbusters. Bam! Where are you from originally? Shh. Are you a god? Well, no. Then die! Winston says, Ray, when someone asks you if you're a god, you say yes! I couldn't help it. It just popped in there. It's the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.